This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. All eyes on Labor as it handed down its alternate budget in Parliament today. The party revealing if it won the next state election, it would introduce leased hotel rooms for patients instead of staying in hospital. The promise comes after what Labor calls relentless issues with overcrowding in the health system. But the government says the alternate budget is underwhelming and shows the party's inexperience.
The state opposition handing down its long-awaited budget reply with its own solution to Tasmania's health woes.
Something is very wrong in our state when Tasmanians genuinely feel they're being let down by the very system that is supposed to support them when they need it most.
The party promising an extra $88 million over 3 years for health, saying the government's $658 million boost in last week's budget was an afterthought.
Labor's direction statement addresses the needs while maintaining responsible financial management with modest and improving surpluses across the forward estimates,
including the funding of Tasmania's first Medi hotels, which are leased hotel rooms said to leave beds available for patients with more serious medical needs. Also committing to fund more ambulances and staff around Tasmania, as well as funding for 20 new child safety officers. Meanwhile, a new prison in the north of the state to address cultural and capacity issues at Hobart's Risdon prison will be built if Labor wins government. Labor says it will save more than $30 million in the first year by keeping suspended sentences, ditching Infrastructure Tasmania and Coordinator General Office, and scrapping the lower school starting age pledge from the Hodgman government. Treasurer Peter Gutwin has been waiting with bated breath for the alternative budget since delivering his own, but says he's underwhelmed with Labor's promises.
Quite clearly they're spending $2 for every $1 that they're saving. This is the same old Labor, but with an inexperienced twist.
Cassie O'Connor is critical that neither of the major parties' budgets addressed a changing climate.
There's been no commitment from either of them to reinstate the climate portfolio. There's been no commitment to reinstate the Tasmanian Climate Action Council or to work with federal and local governments and communities to make sure that we've got adaptation pathways.
The Greens also handing down its alternative, fully costed budget with a focus on climate change and housing affordability.
It invests in critical 21st century infrastructure, light rail, Launceston water and sewerage, the sub-partners cable. It provides funding to regional communities so they can drive their own infrastructure decisions.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
The state government has revealed plans to change how dangerous driving offences are treated. Charges would be moved to the criminal code, meaning cases would be heard in the Supreme Court. The maximum penalty for dangerous driving causing death will be increased by 1 year.
We do believe that there is a concern in the community in relation to dangerous driving, and that it is important that we're sending a strong message to people that this is very serious conduct. It can destroy lives.
There have been community concerns in the past about sentencing. What the research shows is that the community, properly informed, is very confident in the judicial system. The last thing that we need is the government undermining the judicial system.
The move goes against the Sentencing Advisory Council, which recommended no changes to the maximum penalty. Arsonists have torched 3 cars in quiet residential streets in Sandy Bay. Police are tonight appealing for witnesses to come forward as they hold 2 men in custody.
In the early hours of this morning, residents in Sandy Bay woke to flames. This, the first attack reported to authorities just before 5 a.m. Fire crews were on scene in minutes as leaking fuel spread downhill, creating a line of fire. Over the next hour, crews would be called to 2 more fires just streets away. In the light of day, this is the aftermath. Burnt-out shells littering the neighbourhood. One family woke to their vehicle in a huge fireball, the flames scorching the side of their home as a young child slept inside.
So we were waken up by the fire, the flames outside our window. Somebody put the fire into our car. It was pretty big. So So we just run out of the house, woke up the neighbours.
The owners of this car didn't want to be identified in fear of their safety. They had only moved to Tasmania from France in the last year.
Yeah, no, it's pretty surprising. You wouldn't expect that in Tasmania, especially in Sandy Bay. I don't know. It means we'll have to get a new car.
This afternoon, police confirmed 2 men are in custody. They're asking witnesses to come forward and report anything suspicious in the area last night.
They were located by police in the area at the time, but obviously we need to conduct further inquiries to link them to the actual offences.
But for the victims and witnesses of last night's attacks, these frightening scenes will be burned into their memories. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
The Mayfield man accused of murdering Tyson Timothy Clark Robertson and burying him in his backyard has pleaded not guilty to charges. Ian Rosewall entered his plea via video link to the Launceston Magistrates Court. He was remanded in custody and will reappear for trial in the Supreme Court on July 24. Launceston has become Australia's first gigabit city, meaning Tasmanian businesses can now have internet speeds faster than anywhere in the nation. Today's Switch On hoping to inspire more companies to move to the Apple Isle.
Opening the doors to a world of new opportunities. Telco company Lontel this morning switching on the country's first gigabit NBN connection.
It's a great day for Tasmania because it means that the internet speeds that are now available in the state have just gone through the roof.
The new connection already delivering download speeds of up to 800 megabits per second, while upload speeds are sitting around the 400 megabits mark. And those figures are set to rise.
It really takes the internet and the NBN to a new level. It means that you can download films in the snap of a finger, but more importantly, if you're a business that produces large files, like the movie industry for example, you can send out your movies to the world in a fraction of what you could at the moment.
Artaz Architects is one of 3 companies so far connected.
This is a really exciting announcement for us. We typically have files that are a gig in size, and it means we have spent a lot of time sitting around waiting for that file to download.
Lontel says making the investment wasn't an easy decision.
Just like running an airline, we have to buy all the backhaul, all the bandwidth first, and then start putting people on it.
But the company is confident the gigabit connection will be a game changer for Tasmania and believes it could prompt more businesses to move down under.
I'm expecting there are a lot of software development companies that need to upload, or movie companies that need to do a lot of uploading, that they're going to be looking at Tasmania and go, we can put our whole production staff down there.
Monica Dadson, Southern Cross News.
2 Tasmania police officers have become internet sensations after escorting a drunk patron home. After tucking the young man into bed, the friendly cops then used his phone to make sure he didn't forget what happened.
Waking up after a big night out, Reece Park discovered this photo on his phone. 2 Launceston police officers posing for the camera after taking the young reveller home. Earlier, the Knights in police armour were called to a taxi, only to find the 21-year-old in bad shape.
Upon arrival, we found Reece in the back seat, fast asleep. Reece was unable to tell us his name or where he lived.
They eventually worked it out and helped him into bed, but the picture was more than just a happy snap.
Oh, to tell you the truth, I ran out of calling cards, so we had to let him know we'd been there, and yeah, it was just intended for him to find out.
It's a good thing they took it. Reece can't remember any of it.
Had a few beers and then decided to go to the pub, and then pretty much don't remember after that, like at all.
But he did get the chance to thank them today.
That's classic.
The photo op has become an internet hit, being shared around the world on social media. But it's also a timely reminder to look out for your mates.
We just want everyone to get home safe, and, you know, believe it or not, we do love and care our community, so anything we can do to help, we love doing it. So, yeah, good on Reece. What a legend.
Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania has ranked as one of the country's top 10 heart failure hotspots, the condition putting a $78 million burden on our health system each year. But a new drug is expected to make a remarkable difference.
8 weeks ago, Thomas Good could barely move without his heart giving him issues.
I could get up of a morning and by the time I had a shower, that was it. I couldn't breathe properly.
But now, after taking this drug as prescribed by Dr. George Koshy, he says he almost feels 100% better.
The results has turned out perfect.
Entresto will be added to the pharmaceutical benefit scheme from Thursday, meaning it will become available for many Australians at a reasonable price. The new addition timely, as today it's also been revealed Tasmania is a heart failure hotspot. The condition that's incurable occurs when the organ is unable to keep up with the body's demands. It's often caused by heart attacks and long-term health problems like diabetes.
When you look at the burden of heart failure in Tasmania, there's about 13,000 patients currently in the state with heart failure.
National results reveal the drug reduces sudden cardiac death by 20%. But while new tablets continue to hit the market, doctors say a healthy heart can be achieved without any medication at all.
People have to be more capable of doing more of exercise and healthy eating.
We also need to raise awareness of heart failure. So when someone has it, they get treated properly.
Monica Dadson at Southern Cross News.
And now a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The share market has recovered from early falls to close higher thanks to afternoon gains by the major banks. The ASX 200 index has risen by 10.8 points. Short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 74.38 US cents and 82.45 Japanese yen. The Hobart Hurricanes' first star signing has arrived in Hobart, but he won't be playing any T20 cricket over the coming summer. Former South African cricket great Gary Kirsten is taking the reins as coach of the underperforming squad and is already talking to a number of big-name recruits.
Kirsten played 101 tests for the Proteas, solid as a rock at the top of the order with an average of 45. His coaching career also places him among the elite, taking India and his native South Africa to the #1 ICC ranking and later helming the Delhi Daredevils in the IPL. Now he's looking to repeat his successes at the Hobart Hurricanes.
I jumped at the opportunity and there is something about a smaller town, especially when you kind of seen as a smaller fish in the big pond. I think there's always an attraction to that.
While it's still too early to sign up a squad, Kirsten says he's already had informal talks with a number of possible imports and says boosting bowling stocks is a key priority. Key too is the signature of Tasmania's own George Bailey.
There's no doubt that there is some tweaking required in recruitment, #1, and also just in the way things are done. And, I hopefully will bring my flavour to that. But I'm also mindful not to arrogantly just walk into spaces and think that, you guys are doing things wrong. There's a lot of good here as well.
Kirsten will begin his preparation from Cape Town before joining the Tigers squad under new coach Adam Griffith for the 50-over series in October. Griffith will also play a role as assistant at the Hurricanes, alongside hand-picked fielding coach Ryan Cook.
So Ryan, I know he's with the South African A-team at the moment in the UK, and I know he'll bring good value to that component of the game, which has become critical in T20 cricket.
BBL 07 gets underway in December. Andrew McCarthy, Southern Cross News.
Good evening. Hobart 9 degrees today. Launceston reached 14, Burnie 11 and Devonport 13 degrees. At Eastern Point our high with 15, Lake Leak the low with -2 with temperatures between 3 and 7 below average. And a cold front brought a few showers too overnight and today. Zeehan 39 mils to 9 a.m. and Dunalley 12 millimetres to 3 p.m. Flinders Island 14 degrees, Low Head and St Helens 13. King Island got to a top of 12. Wynyard, Strawn and Friendly Beaches 11, Campania, Ouse and Bushy Park 9, Lyowini looking like a soccer score there, 0-2. The cold front evident there off the east coast of Tasmania moving away. A little bit of cloud off the coast of northern Queensland. There's some cold air moving across southeastern states with another series of fronts south of WA. The close-up shows dense low cloud over the northeast of Tasmania just behind the front with all the cold air now streaming in from the west. Tomorrow a strong high over the south of the mainland will be the most dominant feature, with the fronts further to the west, everything else at bay. Southwest winds tomorrow at 15 to 20 knots, increasing to 20 to 30 knots over the southeast, swells up to 4 metres in western and southern waters. A frost warning for parts of the northwest, central north, Midlands, northeast and upper Derwent Valley tomorrow, and a strong wind warning from Wineglass Bay to southeast Cape. How's tomorrow shaping up? Still cool, 13 degrees for Hobart, bit of cloud about, a possible shower for Geeston and 12, 1 overnight for Bothwell, a top of 11. For Launceston, a morning frost, a sunny afternoon, 14 chilly degrees, 15 for Devonport, a mostly sunny, and a top of 12 for Cressy after a cold start. Burnie, partly cloudy and 15, 13 the top for Strawn with a shower or two, a possible shower for Curry and 14 degrees. St Helens tomorrow mostly sunny, 14, 14 also for Swansea, okay 2 for Orford and 13 degrees. On Thursday, showers over the west with possible morning fog in the north, otherwise fine. Fog and frost in the north to kick off Friday. Fine weather to prevail though with showers for the west, south and Bass Strait. Light showers on Saturday over the islands again, along with the west, mostly fine for the rest of the state. Partly cloudy in Perth tomorrow, mostly sunny in Adelaide, a shower clearing from Melbourne. Another frost forecast for Canberra and possible showers for Sydney and Cairns. Partly cloudy, 7 in Hobart, clear and 5 in Launceston, clear in Devonport, currently 7 degrees. Chilly weather again tomorrow, Joe, but it's only 6 months and 1 day until summer.
That's just depressing. Thank you, Merv. Well, that's all from the news team for now. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.